Cartesian coordinate. Cartesian coordinate is representing of an order pair of x and y, where y depends on x. We have 4 quadrants. As you notice, it's broke down. We read the first one on the right-hand side. Then the second one is here, third, and fourth. Here is our y axis, and here is our x axis. The center of the graph, which is known right here, we call it the origin. At the center of the graph, we get 0 for x and 0 for y. Anytime we cross this y-axis here, x is always 0, and this is called my y-intercept. Anytime we cross the x-axis, y is always 0, and this is called my x-intercept. If we look at the first quadrant here, our x is all positive numbers, right? Because we're going off to positive infinity. And y is all positive numbers because we're going up to infinity. The second quadrant, if you notice, x is going to the right, which leads off to negative infinity. So it's negative numbers. It's on the other side of the 0. And the y is still going up to positive infinity. The third quadrant, as you notice, x is still going to negative infinity. It's on the other side of the 0. And if you look, y is on the other side of the 0, and it's going down to negative infinity. So it's negative. The fourth quadrant, well, x now is on the other side of the 0 going towards infinity, so it's positive. And y is still going down, so it's negative. So let's talk a little bit about graphing the linear equation in 2 variables. 2 variables, they are x and y. And again, whenever we see the y-intercept, we know x is 0. Whenever we see the x-intercept, y is 0. Okay, so we're going to graph this equation here based on solving for the intercepts. All right, so if I solve for the x-intercept, I'm going to automatically put 0 in for y. And what happens to that 4 when I multiply it to 0? It goes to 0. That's what we kind of wanted, right? That leaves me with 3x is equal to 36. And let's just solve for x by dividing by 3 because we want a positive 1 coefficient on x. 3 goes into 36 12 times. So now I know that order pair. However, my graph here is a 10 by 10. So I'm going to have to add 2 to it. I'm going to start at 0, 0. I know I'm going to go to the right because it's positive for y, and I'm going to go out 12, and I'm going to go out 2 places past this graph because it's a 10 by 10. And it's right here, and at this point, y is 0. So I'm going to call this A. I'll just call it A, so that way I can plot it here. Now, let's solve for the y-intercept. Well, when I do that, I know x is 0, so we're going to plug in 0 for x. 3 times that 0 gives me 0, and it goes away, leaves me with negative 4y is equal to 36. I'm going to divide by that negative 4 because I need y to have a positive 1 coefficient. Negative divides positive is negative. 4 goes in 36 9 times. So it is a negative 9. It's crossing the y-axis at it. Since it's a negative value for y, we're going below this origin here, and we're going down 9. We're staying on the y-intercept because, or the y-axis because x is 0. I'm going to label this B. All you need is 2 order pairs to graph a linear line, right? And do my best to draw a straight line. There we go. Boom, I got it. So now let's talk about vertical and horizontal lines. Well, if you notice that we are giving this equation of x equals negative 5, it says nothing about y. It says nothing. So this tells me y is constantly changing, but x is not. So I'm going to come over here and start at 0, 0 and go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and plot my x there. And if I notice, that my X is not changing. My Y is, but my X is not. Whoops, that was bad drawing, guys. Try to draw a little straighter. So I can write order pairs of -5, 0, right, for the x-intercept. I can also write an order pair of 5, 5. I can write an order pair of 5, -5. Whoops, keep the negatives on the x's because it didn't change. So it's not changing. It's constantly saying x equals -5. So that's a vertical line. However, whenever you're given an equation where y equals a number and that's all you see, then that means y is not changing. That means y is constantly staying at that number and x is changing. So go to 0, 0, and y is positive. So we're going to go up 7. We're going to go up 7 and let's mark it. And I'm going to make my line go across. We know that this is a horizontal line. So if I write the order pair, I know I get 0, 7 for the y-intercept. I can write -7 for x and 7 again for y because it's not changing. I can write, I'm just going to stick with the 7, 7 for x and 7 for y. If you notice, what doesn't change? The y's on the horizontal. On the vertical, the x's don't change.